What is up, family? We have another Patreon request. We got the German mayor who saw D-Day first. Well, that's got to be a hell of a story. An animated story. An animation, right? I mean, they're getting so good you can't tell. Yeah, animation.
It's 0:30 hours, June 6th, 1944, and Major Werner Pluskat stands alone in his concrete bunker high above Omaha Beach. He commands the 352nd Infantry Division's coastal artillery.
Yeah, this was...
And for months he has stared at this same empty horizon. Tonight, something feels different. His orders are clear. If the Allies come, his guns must stop them on the beach. If they break through here, the road to Paris lies open. At 0100 hours, the phone rings. It's his regimental commander. He scans the darkness again. Nothing but waves and fog.
Pluskat, melde dich. Siehst du irgendetwas?
Negativ. Alles ruhig.
Seien Sie wachsam. Geheimdienste melden ungewöhnliche Aktivitäten.
He hangs up and returns to the scope. His crews man the 155mm guns in their reinforced positions, ammunition stacked and ready. The naval mines stretch across the beach below. The obstacles bristle from the sand. Everything is prepared, but the waiting gnaws at him. Then, at 2 a.m., he hears it. A low, mechanical growl rolling across the water. Aircraft engines. Hundreds of them. The sound grows into a roar. Pluskat rushes to the observation slit. The sky to the north erupts in streaks of light. Parachutes bloom like white flowers against the darkness. Thousands of them.
Alarm! Alle Positionen aufstehen!
His artillery crews scramble to their guns. The phone rings again.
Pluskat, was siehst du?
Luftangriff! Massenhafter Fallschirmsprung ins Landesinnere! Feuer los!
Negativ. Halten Sie Ihren Sektor. Der Strand ist Ihre Verantwortung.
His gunners train their pieces inland, but the order is absolute. The beach. Always the beach. But the paratroopers are landing behind them, cutting roads, seizing bridges. The invasion is already past his guns. Dawn begins to break at 0530. A pale gray light spreads across the water. Pluskat returns to his scope, scanning the horizon. His heart stops. Ships, not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. The entire horizon from left to right, as far as he can see, is covered in ships. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, transports. An armada beyond comprehension. They sit in neat rows, dark silhouettes against the lightning sky, stretching to infinity. His hands shake as he reaches for the phone.
Da draußen müssen 10.000 Schiffe unterwegs sein.
Static crackles. His commander's voice is tight.
Sei kein Dummkopf. Reiß dich zusammen.
Before the response comes,
Get it
the
together.
world explodes. The first salvos from the Allied naval guns tear across the sky like freight trains. The sound arrives a split second before the shells. They slam into the bluffs around him with earth-shattering force. Concrete dust fills his bunker. The walls shudder.
Feuer erwidern! Alle Batterien Feuer erwidern!
His guns roar to life. The 155mm pieces bark, sending shells arcing toward the distant fleet. But the Allied fire is overwhelming. For every shot he sends, 50 come back. The German positions erupt in fountains of dirt, steel, and shattered concrete. At 6:30 a.m., landing craft appear, hundreds of them, churning forward in waves.
Yeah, this did not go well at all for them.
They're heading straight for Omaha Beach, straight for his sector.
Zielen Sie auf das Landungsboot! Schnell Feuer!
His battery commanders acknowledge. The German guns shift, tracking the approaching boats. At 2,000 meters, they open fire. Shells splash around the craft. One takes a direct hit and disintegrates in a ball of orange flame.
Yeah.
There are too many. For every craft destroyed, 10 more push forward. The landing craft hit the obstacles. Some explode on mines, others grind to a halt on the steel hedgehogs. The ramps drop. American soldiers pour out into chest-deep water.
Maschinengewehre, jetzt!
The MG-42 positions dug into the bluffs open fire. The distinctive ripping sound of German machine guns echoes across the beach. Tracer lines rake the waterline, forcing the first wave to scatter and dive for cover. The surf churns with chaos, yet they keep coming. More landing craft grind onto the sand. Tanks push forward, some bog down immediately, others crawl toward the shingle. Engineers sprint with charges, trying to cut lanes through the obstacles. From Pluscat's guns, heavy shells slam into the beach, blasting sand and debris skyward and shredding equipment in an instant.
Geschütz Nummer 3 ist getroffen!
A naval shell finds one of his artillery pieces and silences the position in a single strike.
Richten Sie Geschütz Nummer 4 so aus, dass es diesen Sektor abdeckt.
I assume this is a game? What I'm watching here? Like, whoa, this is a game?
The Americans are pinned down behind the seawall and shingle. The waterline is choked with wreckage, and damaged vehicles burn along the beach.
Yeah.
It looks hopeless. But the landing craft keep coming wave after wave, spilling fresh troops onto the open sand. At 7:30, he thinks to himself, how many shells remaining?
Waffe 1, 30 Schuss. Waffe 2, 25. Waffe 4, 18.
They've been firing for an hour. At this rate, they'll be out in 30 minutes. He calls regiment again.
Ich brauche sofort Nachschub.
Unmöglich. Alle Straßen sind gesperrt. Die Fallschirmjäger haben die Brücken. Ihr seid auf euch allein gestellt.
The Allied guns adjust. The pattern changes, less noise, more intent. Spotters are guiding the fire, feeding coordinates from the beach and the air. Impacts march up the bluff, closing in with frightening accuracy. Then the bunker takes a direct shock. The scope fractures. The view disappears. Pluscat hits the floor hard. He lifts his head and sees smoke seeping through a new crack in the wall. The concrete is beginning to give.
Sir! Geschütz 4 meldet Volltreffer. Es ist zerstört.
2 guns left, with fewer than 40 shells remaining. By 800, the Americans begin to advance. Small groups break from the seawall and move up through the draws along the bluff. Defensive fire forces several to drop and take cover, but others reach the low ground and keep pushing. They work with grenades and satchel charges to disable each strong point they encounter. The radio crackles, then drops into silence. Outside, the air pulses with repeated impacts.
If this is a game, this is insane. Seriously. Absolutely just unbelievable. But even if this is just an animation of a video for a story, you know, a documentary of history of a terrible, terrible, terrible day, doomsday, that's the name for a reason. It's just absolutely amazing, though. Really. It's incredible.
Each one closer than the last. A messenger rushes into the shelter.
Amerikaner an Drahtposition 7! Sie brechen durch! Aufgrunderrückzug! Auf Sekundärstellung zurückziehen! Kampfrückzug!
There's no withdrawal. The roads are cut, and the escape routes are held. His men can only fall back into an ever smaller section of the line. At 8:45, his last 2 positions fall silent. They are out of ammunition.
Sir, was sind Ihre Befehle?
Pluscat stares toward the shoreline. It's filled with movement now, huge numbers pressing forward and spreading inland.
At this point, I'd be like, do you want me to kill you, or do you want to be killed by the enemy? Because we're both going to die. You want to do a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi fire at each other so we could just end this now? Or do we let them come in here and do their thing? I mean, they're 2 horrible answers to your question, but it's over. You're done. You're done. But man, let me tell you, the amount of people that died coming off those boats, this does it no justice.
heavy vehicles crawl up the slopes. Gaps have opened where the barriers used to be. The ground he was meant to hold has become a foothold for the advance.
Yeah.
The invasion has succeeded. At the base of the bluff, medics move urgently through the chaos. German and Americans lie side by side. The scale of the arrival is immense. Vehicles and supplies in a continuous stream, pushing inland without pause. The Atlantic Wall has failed. His account of watching the Allied fleet appear at dawn became one of the most famous German perspectives of the invasion. The 352nd Infantry Division suffered catastrophic casualties defending Omaha Beach, with over 1,200 men killed, wounded, or captured in the first 12 hours. Despite inflicting heavy losses on the American forces, the German defenders were overwhelmed by the scale and firepower of the Allied assault. Pluskat survived the war, and his testimony was featured in
Oh, wow. So, okay, so this is... All right, wow.
Cornelius Ryan's book, The Longest Day. He maintained until his death that the sight of the Allied armada at dawn was the moment he knew Germany had lost the war. The defense of Omaha Beach was Germany's most successful resistance on D-Day, but it wasn't enough. For another perspective on a surprise attack that changed the war, watch when Japan struck Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, we know about that. And trust me, they regret doing that. Wow, what a video. I mean, it looks like they're all animations. You know, now that I think about it, I think perhaps YouTube is a little more lenient when it comes to animations of war, people getting shot, soldiers going down. Clearly there's deaths on the beach, you know, but it's an animation. So it's not as it's not as bad on the eye, you know what I mean? Even though we know, I mean, I don't even know why YouTube would think that, because, well, I mean, you know, young kids who don't know might end up clicking it and just going, oh my God, what did I just watch? But a majority of adults and young adults know all about this war, know all about the video, the graphics, the horror that occurred. And yeah, like I said, it's just easier on the eye if it's animated. You know what I mean? So maybe it was actually smart for the people to make these videos the way they did, thinking, listen, if we show any kind of real footage, what's the point? You know, what's the point? No one's going to let us watch, you know, unless it's on a TV program. YouTube's not going to allow it. You know, so it's like, I get it. But their games, I mean, if you could do what we just watched, somehow make that a game. Oh my God. Could you imagine if there's like a Call of Duty? Wait a minute. I'm almost certain Call of Duty does have that one, that I might have even played it. Anyway, amazing video on a very sad day that had to be done. It just had to be done. You know, we all know what would have happened if Germany just kept doing what they were doing. We all know what would have happened. So it just had to be done. It had to be done. And it was brutal. It was brutal. The movie was brutal. Watching the movie was brutal. Not the Doomsday. I forget the movie of who actually, you know, what the name of the movie is. I should know because so many war movies I watched that were really good. Anyway, you know, I want to say Saving Private Ryan? No. Maybe what? I don't remember. All I know is the movie is brutal. So watching it animated, you know, like I said, easier on the eyes. But the story through the German that saw 10,000 ships coming at him. And then you're like, hey, you know, I need some help here. And I'm like, oh, everything's blocked. You're on your own, buddy. Do what you got to do. The beach is your issue, your problem. Thanks, boss. Yeah, you're dead. You know you're dead. You know it's over, and that's it. It's over. It's finished. But he lived. They didn't kill him. They didn't kill him. Took him as a captive, I imagine. Anyway, great video. Sad story, great video. Take care. Peace out. Till the next one.